Hello and welcome to Bat Fridays here on One Comic Book a Day, as we are now tackling our first main issue of Batman, the series that's just called Batman #1. Yes, the first Batman. And actually, we're going to be talking about another really big first in this comic. There's also another big first in this comic, but we'll be doing the first story here. Well, technically, it's not the first story. The first story in Batman is like a 2-page recap backstory explaining how he became Batman, which we've already gotten like 4 or 5 issues ago in Detective Comics. And unlike the first issue of Superman, this doesn't really add much to it. Bruce Wayne saw his parents murdered in front of him in an alley, grew up learning martial arts and becoming an expert in chemistry, decides to become the Batman after a bat flies in through his window. I mean, Frank Miller sort of improves on this, but it's still just absolutely ridiculous that he became Batman because a bat flew in through the window. Like, we really need to talk about how just kind of inherently silly that is. Batman Begins sort of has like a nod to this when he sees the bat in the flying around the mansion, which then leads to like a bigger bat moment, but there's still like that little moment. There's just a bat in there. But the first story in here is the Joker. Yes, the introduction of the Clown Prince of Crime, the Joker. Everyone's favorite rogue. Like, legitimately maybe the most popular villain in history. Like, the amount of Joker cosplays you see, it's terrifying. So this is the first Joker story. It was actually a huge influence on The Dark Knight, mostly because what they were already doing with the story of The Dark Knight was sort of similar to this, and someone eventually brought it up to them. This story is definitely done by Jerry Robinson, because Jerry Robinson and Bob Kane had conflicting stories about how the Joker came about. So we believe Jerry Robinson, because once again, you do not believe a single word that comes out of Bob Kane's mouth. Robinson actually survived up till like 2013, 2014. He was an advisor on The Dark Knight. Wouldn't be surprised if it was he who suggested the story. And it's actually a really entertaining story. At times, it seems like it's going through the motions, and I've explained that, what I mean by that in other videos, but it's generally my belief that there is no like increase in threat. There's no rising action, essentially. But it works a little better here because it becomes more threatening as it goes on, what the Joker is doing. So we begin with a couple, like an old farm couple, listening to the radio when the Joker, a guy who claims to be the Joker, comes on radio and threatens to kill a man and steal his world-famous jewel. What I find really fascinating about this scene is the old man kind of throws this as some sort of like publicity stunt, like Orson Welles' War of the Worlds broadcast, which was famous for people possibly believing that it was real. I've only listened to the rebroadcast, which you can easily find on podcasts, and there's so many ads during it, and so many cutaways to, like a band playing, that it seems really ridiculous to believe that was really real, because if that situation was happening, you probably wouldn't cut away to all of that all the time. But A, I don't know if that was in the original broadcast, and hey, radio was still fairly new medium. So the police wait with the guy all night, and then when it gets past the time Joker says he was going to do this, the man dies, kills over, laughing with, well, not exactly laughing, kind of like suffocating, but he has that like smile on his face that becomes really the Joker's calling card, even though there is an actual Joker card as his calling card. But especially us who grew up with the animated series, there were so many like laughing gas killing ways of the Joker. He always wanted to kill you with a smile. And when they go and check on the jewel, it turns out the Joker has already taken it and replaced it with a fake jewel. So already he's pretty great. And here's another reason I really like the Joker here, as opposed to all the other villains we've been getting in Batman and Superman. He's not exactly a mad scientist. He can make an interesting like laughing gas to kill people, but he's more like a criminal genius than like a mad scientist or a criminal mastermind, which has been kind of missing from most of the villains. They're either kind of silly or just mad scientists, or that vampire that Batman shot. The Joker keeps pulling stunts like this, kind of getting a little more brash each time. The second time he does it, he actually releases gas and turns out to be hiding in a suit of armor the entire time, while the room is full of police. Batman and Robin keep thinking that they're going to get involved, but they don't seem to be doing anything proactive to begin with. When we do actually get to see the Joker, he does look like the Joker. What I actually really love about this is his design is identical to the design Hanna-Barbera would eventually use in like the 60s when they did the Batman and Robin cartoon, which I rarely ever see on anything. I had it on videotapes, and the same actual style that would be used when Batman and Robin would be on Scooby-Doo. Like when you saw that Joker, it looks like that Joker in stills. Like they animated this version. Possibly isn't surprising seeing how cheap those shows were. Yeah, he's using like the laughing gas killing people, his laughing venom. But he's not really all that silly. He doesn't even like let out a laugh. He seems perfectly sane except for the whole murdering part. The cops want to trick the Joker and try to kill two birds with one stone. They let out that like a mobster has something very rare and valuable, so the Joker will target him. When Joker comes after him, and he literally just comes in through a window and shoots a guy, like the least Joker way you could kill someone, but still kind of badass. Batman and Robin show up, they chase after him. Batman ends up confronting Joker on a bridge where the Joker somehow kicks Batman's ass. Like, usually in a fight between Batman and the Joker is nowhere near his equal in a fight. Usually you have to, like, add something to the mix. He has some sort of formula or device, or he pulls Batman's mask down from the eyes. Or in The Dark Knight, when the dogs are attacking him and he immediately starts getting beaten by, like, a 2x4 or a lead pipe. The Joker can never really take him on one by one, but no, he does it here and like sends him over the bridge. This is just going to lead to one more confrontation when he tries to kill somebody else and thinks Batman's done for, but him and Robin show up to attack him. Robin kind of kicks his butt too, leading to a final confrontation where they end up in like the lab on fire, infect Batman with the laughing gas, but it doesn't actually do much. Well, it's doing something, but he gets through it because, you know, Batman. And him and the Joker end with a final fight where he just takes him out pretty easily. The Joker is put in prison, and Batman kind of worries that they might actually meet him again. And we end with the Joker basically kind of promising as he's standing in prison. And in fact, we're not going to have to wait that long in the story because there's two Joker stories in the first issue of Batman. The Joker returns as, I believe, the last story, so we'll be getting to that at the end of this. The next story, I think, is the first Catwoman story, so we'll cover that next week. It's either that or the Hugo Strange Monster Men story. But I think it's the Catwoman story where she's not actually Catwoman yet. But yes, this is a really good version of a Batman story. It's still not quite getting the rising action yet. It was better at when it was like the 8-page stories. But the Joker really brings something that works here. Kind of like how Lex Luthor's stories always make Superman stories better because Lex Luthor is just a harder threat for Superman to deal with. And that is it for me today. If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe. Hit the bell icon to get notifications when a new video goes up. I do this Monday through Friday, but Mondays and Thursdays I either cover a Superman story from Superman or a Superman story from Action Comics. And join us next week. Same Bat Day, same comic book channel. Have a good day.